The legal process and outcome of the case, including the life sentence and the reaction of the judge and the family. The case of Michael Malloy Jr., who killed his father with a punch in 2009, was a tragic and shocking one. Michael Malloy Sr. died on January 24, 2009 after his son, Michael Jr., punched him in the jaw the night before near their home at Gary Glass Avenue, Ballinacurra Weston, Limerick. The punch caused a fatal brain hemorrhage and left the father lying unconscious on the ground. Michael Jr. then fled the scene and did not call for help. Michael Jr. was arrested and charged with manslaughter, but he pleaded guilty to a lesser charge of assault causing harm. He claimed that he acted in self-defense after his father attacked him with a knife during an argument over money. He also said that he loved his father and did not mean to kill him. The judge who presided over the case, Mr. Justice Paul Carney, said that he had never encountered such a bizarre case in his 40 years on the bench. He said that Michael Jr. had shown no remorse for his actions and had a history of violent and antisocial behavior. He also noted that Michael Jr. had 47 previous convictions, including assault, robbery, burglary, criminal damage and possession of drugs. The judge sentenced Michael Jr. to 7 years in prison, with the final 2 years suspended. He said that he took into account the plea of guilty, the young age of the defendant and the fact that he had a difficult upbringing. He also said that he considered the wishes of the victim's family, who had forgiven Michael Jr. and did not want him to receive a harsh sentence. The victim's family expressed their mixed feelings about the sentence. The mother of Michael Jr., Mary Malloy, said that she loved her son and forgave him for what he did. She said that she hoped he would change his life for the better and become a good person. She also said that she missed her husband dearly and wished he was still alive. The brother of Michael Jr., John Malloy, said that he was disappointed with the sentence and thought it was too lenient. He said that his brother deserved to spend more time behind bars for taking their father's life. He also said that his brother had shown no remorse or apology for his actions and had not tried to help their father after punching him. The case of Michael Malloy Jr. was a tragic example of how a single punch can have devastating consequences for both the victim and the perpetrator. It also showed how a family can be torn apart by violence and grief. The death of a child is one of the most traumatic events that a parent can experience. But when the child is killed by their own father, the grief and pain are compounded by shock, disbelief, anger, guilt, and shame. How can a father do such a thing to his own flesh and blood? How can a mother cope with the loss of her child and the betrayal of her partner? How can the siblings of the victim deal with their fear, confusion, and resentment? These are some of the questions that haunt the surviving family members of a father who killed his son with a punch. According to the World Health Organization, violence against children includes all forms of violence against people under 18 years old, whether perpetrated by parents or other caregivers, peers, romantic partners, or strangers. Globally, it is estimated that up to 1 billion children aged 2 to 17 years have experienced physical, sexual, or emotional violence or neglect in the past year. Homicide, which often involves weapons such as knives and firearms, is among the top 4 causes of death in adolescence, with boys comprising over 80% of victims and perpetrators. Beyond its direct impact, homicide has serious and negative effects on the lives of surviving family members, particularly children. Psychological effects include anxiety, depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, aggression, guilt, and a heightened sense of vulnerability. Socio-occupational effects include problems in school and at work. Homicide may also lead families to incur expenses they can ill afford, such as funeral costs and lawyer fees. If the victim was a breadwinner, families may no longer be able to cope financially. Homicide can also generate a sense of insecurity in society, and when high rates occur in countries with weak, inefficient and corrupt criminal justice systems can contribute to undermining social and economic development. A rise in crime, a loss of confidence in the police, and an atmosphere of general fear in the neighborhood can all be consequences of family-related homicide. Additionally, it can result in a rise in drug abuse, a deterioration of social services, and problems with mental health. In this way, the sudden and unnatural characteristics of homicides, compared to anticipated and nonviolent death, can be understood to increase the psychological shock experienced by co-victims at the individual, family, and community levels. The impact of intrafamilial homicide on the family system is profound and long-lasting. It requires specialized support and intervention from professionals who are trained to deal with such complex and traumatic situations.